Hey, 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 goodness. Like I say, goodness, because I don't know whether it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It depends on when you've decided to watch. I'm early if you're going to be here with me live. And my philosophy is always that I like to come on earlier than the broadcast time because I like to give technology, Facebook, a chance to do what they call build the audience. So this is also the time where I give my shout outs to people that come. So as you come on, go on and type something in the thread and let me shout you out. This is my interactive day. I broadcast on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. My Monday message is a short 1 to 2 minute inspirational taping that I put on. My Friday, and that's my Friday, and that's called the Monday Morning Moment. My Friday is an 8 to 12 minute message. I call it Gift Friday, where I read one of my original poems, then drop the link in the box for you to gift it to you so that you can have your keepsake, colorful, memorable copy. And then on Wednesday, this is my 30 to 45 minute Glue Wednesday. And this is my interactive day where I'll speak to you. So if you drop a comment in the box, then I can give you a shout out and say hello. I'm always happy to do that. So that's what we'll do with Glue Wednesday. So we've got less than 4 minutes for today's message. But in case this is your first time joining us, then you have to know that glue is GLUE, God's love undoes everything. It's a reminder because so often people think that Wednesday is hump day. That's the cliche. Hump day is the middle of the week. But I say Wednesday is actually the traditional middle of a 7 day week where we take the week beginning and the week end together. And we've got Wednesday is the glue that keeps them together. And that glue takes me right into my favorite pose, and that is a prayerful mode. And that's why I call it GLUE. God's love undoes everything. We've got less than 3 minutes to go for our message. But that's the thing. It's not that God's love will tear things apart, but it will take what has been torn apart and glue it back together. See, we don't need hump day. We don't need to get over. We need glue. We need to keep it together, especially during these times of the pandemic, but not really, especially during these times of waking up. So when you wake up, you need to find ways to keep it together. What are you doing to keep it together? That's always a subliminal topic that I'm talking about, regardless of my broadcast. And you know what? That's the subliminal topic that anybody is talking about, even you in your regular conversations day to day with people. So let's find ways to keep it together. We've got less than 3 minutes. If you're here, and I see some people are here, if you want to drop your name in the box there in the thread, I'd love to give you a shout out. Post your name on this thread. Okay, there we go. Hey, Roger Carroll, decluttering like mad so that I can move to the Queen City. Oh, good. You are going to be coming here. Oh, God, goodness, winter. And you're right. You got to start decluttering now to move here for the winter. Which, well, the winter starts in August in Chicago, but the winter starts here in October. And there is a lot when you relocate, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just like moving from an apartment to a place, or even a home to a home. If you're going to be staying in the same city, relocating is a whole nother animal. So all the blessings to you, Roger Carroll, as you get ready to relocate from the shy to the Shah. And what's going on, Lillian? Love you too. And you know I've done some relocated from my days at the Wall Street Journal. That's my Wall Street Journal mom. Good to see you. We got less than 2 minutes for today's message. But that's the key is, back to Roger Carroll relocating, when you come here, you got your brothers here already. But when you move from one city to another, because we're talking about empathy today. So think about it. When you move from one city to another, from one place to another, how the relationships you build makes a difference. And really it's what's already inside you that's going to make a difference to how well you settle into your new surroundings. Because empathy is also somewhat about judgment, because it's a decision that we make of what we go into, how we're going to choose to relate to or deal with certain types of people and situations and places. That's the beauty of our life. That's why we always have to be focused on keeping it together. And we've got less than 1 minute for today's actual message, but everything is a part of the message because everything is a part of our life. How we live is a part of our life, which is also a part of someone else's life. So again, there's empathy. all these things that bind us and keep us together. And P.S. By the way, Lillian, I meant to say, love you too. I thank you so much. You have been such a blessing to me. And it is now 1:00. Let's roll with today's message because I got a lot of stuff that I put together. So as we talk about God's love undoes everything, today what I'll do is continue what I've named the GAS series. And the GAS series is the Glue Alphabet series. Last year, one of the things we did to keep it together, you and I, one of the things we did to keep it together was we started the GAS series, the Glue Alphabet series, where each week we focus on a different letter of the alphabet. And it's part of my creative challenge as a speaker, but also as a poet. And that is, you would give me words, you'd put words in the thread that began with the next letter of the alphabet, because we would be focusing on one letter that week. And then the next week, we're going to focus on a different letter. So you would put words in the thread that begin with the next letter of the alphabet. So it's always the next letter in the alphabet and the words that are suggested by last week's viewers. So, of course, what I ended up doing, hey, what's up? I'm going to stop and give my shout out to Haas. What's up, Jose Haas? That's one of my homeboys. But let me get back to the GAS series, okay? Because the funny thing is, last week, I reversed the alphabet. I reversed the alphabet. And instead of last week's, the letter I, and then therefore the letter today should have been a J, I asked that the message for today feature the letter H. And that's okay, because sometimes, as you'll see in our message today, sometimes you have to go back to see where you are. Reminds me of that movie Sankofa. But instead of telling you since last week our focus was on the letter I, instead of saying this week we're going to focus on the letter J, I said we're going to focus on the letter H. And I asked, but I'll tell you now, next week we're focusing on the letter J. So at any time, put a word that begins with the letter J in the thread, and I'll get it next week. But my co-authors today with the letter H are Roger Carroll Rogers with Hubris, Victor Morris with Happy, and Ramona Hopkins with Harmony. Okay? And then there's now that the whole family, see, so I got two of my authors are here already, and Ramona usually can't make it live because she's doing some work. So, but two of my three authors are here. Good to be here, Vic. Glad to have you. All right. So they're my co-authors, Roger Carroll, Victor, and Ramona. And today's message is Empathy Equals Empty, Part Deux. Yeah, I got my French in there. And deux is two in French, just in case. Yeah, we got to teach everything as we go. But my message sponsor today is 2 Kings 6:17. And Elisha prayed, "O Lord, open his eyes so he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked and saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. You see, it's a reminder that we have to open our eyes to see who's on our side. If you over-focus on the enemy, you lose sight of your resources to defeat him. And I created my own saying that says empty is the skeleton, not the root word of empathy, because you see EMPTY, the only letters missing in empathy and empty, the only letters they don't have in common are the A and the H. So I call that the skeleton word of of empathy, empty. And then I say to you, you have to empty yourself to make room for others to be who they are and worthy of compassion. So as we talk about empathy, that's what we have to recognize, that we have to empty ourselves to make room for others to be who they are and then worthy of our compassion. Let me take one more moment to do some shout outs, see what we got there. Victor, they're putting words in there already for me. Okay, no problem. Cool in the gang. Love y'all. All right, so let me keep going with the message, okay? Now, so you have to empty yourself to make room for others to be who they are and worthy of that compassion. Now, one of the challenges here is that in our own fullness, we can't possibly believe that someone did what they did, and then we can't imagine forgiving them and moving on as if nothing happened. Well, first, I repeat what I said last week. One, empathy is not forgiveness. Empathy is the ability to understand another person's thoughts and feelings in a situation from their point of view rather than your own. So I add to that, though, that understanding is also not forgiveness. In fact, we may never understand why someone did or does what they do. Yet we can always remember that we may not have walked in someone else's shoes, but we sat in one another's row because we've all been and are going through something. We may not have walked in someone else's shoes. I never say, look, yeah, look, oh, look, I've been in your shoes. I know what you're going through. No, I don't. I don't know what you're going through. I've not been in your shoes. I've not been a female. I've not been white. I've not been Chinese, Puerto Rican. Well, I have been short. Okay. You know what? I've not lived in different, I have not been in your shoes, but I've sat in your row because all of us are going through something. See, you haven't been in my shoes either. One of my inside jokes to myself and an inspiration that I use is that you don't know how really good I am as a speaker because you see my positive posts rather than my real life. And sometimes I call that occupational hazard. I joke with my friends. I say, hey, such and such went bad, but hey, I'm a motivational speaker. I got to get past it a lot sooner. To feed on my, oh, it came back. Okay, so part of my thing, it takes time to heal, and that's where the empathy comes in again, and the patience that it takes. So we may not have, I don't know what you're going through, but I know you're going through something. I know you're going through something. And right now, everybody you know is going through something, including you, because that means that we're all sitting in the same row. We're all sitting in the same row. So, empathy is not forgiveness. Understanding is not forgiveness. And then, you know what? Where am I? Never. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Because we've all been through and all going through something. Sometimes I got to read what I wrote. And I hate to use the absolutes, by the way. And by absolutes, I'm not talking about vodka, but the absolutes, never and always. I hate to use those absolutes because it only takes one occurrence to erase them. See, whenever you say, I always did this, we've always done that, that never happens, this will never happen, as soon as it happens once, those never and always are gone. So often we're living life in the black and white when so much of our life is lived in the gray. See, so it's just like like the glue, the gray, GRAYGLUE. It's the middle. What are we doing to live in the glue, in the gray? And I think that when we talk about empathy, that's another thing that we need to consider, because if you're going to look at at somebody else's situation through your eyes, then you have to be in the gray. You have to be open to receiving what they're saying or going through. And so I want to give a shout out there to my good Marine friend, William Stevenson, Semper Fi, my brother. Good to see you. All right. So all the gang is here. All right. So let's recognize that the extremes, never and always, it only takes one occurrence to erase them. So on a blog that I read by think.org, where the E in think actually stands for eternity, it states, naturally, people don't like to, and frankly don't want to forgive. We want to hold on to bitterness because we think if I forgive the person the people who have hurt me, then I'm condoning their actions. I'm saying that what they did is okay. I have to be close with them again. That's what the article says. See, that's the mindset we have. If I forgive the people who have hurt me, remember we were saying forgiveness is not empathy. If I forgive the people who have hurt me, then I'm condoning their actions. I'm saying what they did is okay. I have to be close with them again. See, so that's why I don't want to forgive. But that's not true at all. God is the judge, and he will judge appropriately. And this is still in the article. It said bitterness is lack of forgiveness and grudges that often harm the one holding on to them the most. However, when we forgive, we essentially say, "You cannot destroy me." Oops, there we go. Where is it? Here we go. When we forgive, we're saying, "You cannot destroy me, end me, or hinder me any longer." See, I forgive you. You can't destroy me, end me, or hinder me any longer because my God heals. And what did you say, Vic? Healing takes time. See how we're always in sync? He is better than bitterness. God is better than business. The battle is not yours. So it also shows the world that we truly understand how much God has forgiven us. So I grouped that with another blog where I read, "Forgiveness is releasing someone from your punishment and entrusting the offense to God. It is a choice and an action that we choose." That's from Sunshine Gray. And there's that gray again.com. So you'll be able to look at the video again and use those resources if you'd like to go read the whole article. But forgiveness is releasing someone from your punishment and entrusting the offense to God. It is a choice and an action that we choose. Forgiveness is a choice and an action that we choose. And as we say that, let me take a moment to look what Roger Carroll says. As Bren Brown says, empathy is not looking at someone in a hole and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry for your condition." It's going down into the hole with them. Yeah. I love it. And you know what? There's another thing we have to understand, the difference between empathy and sympathy as well. Because you can look at someone in the hole and sympathetically, you can start with that sentence, "I'm sorry for your condition." But now empathetically, I need to go down in that hole with you and bring you out. Not she didn't, don't go down there and stay. Go down and bring them out. That's what empathy is going to be. So preach those blogs. Preach those blogs. And what are the preach? I don't practice what I preach. I preach what I practice. So therefore, I have to do what? I have to choose my messengers carefully, because I'm spreading out a source. I'm sending a source, and now it's encaptured for life because it's on video. It's on the internet. I know it must be true, right? So before you say something, you got to think about what you say. But sure enough, you got to think about what you post. So what you got, Vic? I have allowed God to handle our problems on this world with the light of love and forgiveness, and it's so true. And isn't that wonderful? I have allowed. It's a choice. We all know that saying, "The battle's not yours, it's the Lord's." See, we have all of these sayings that are not necessarily cliches, but are hard to live by. We're going to see that in the message. They're hard to live by. Empathy, we started out talking last week about how empathy is not easy. Empathy is very difficult. How hard is it to allow God, let go and let God handle our problems through the light and love, the light of love and forgiveness. That's going to come up in our message. Y'all going to think that we plan these things together, but we didn't. It's just that we are so much more in sync with other people than we think we are. And sometimes all it is that we have to do what Vic just said, allow. Sometimes you just have to sit back and allow. And when you allow, that's when you can receive. And you can receive. Why you got two ears and one mouth? So you can receive. Two eyes so that you, it's knocked over my mic, so that you can receive before you exhale. All right. So it's so important that we recognize that, you can't destroy me. You can't end me. You can't hinder me any longer. I forgive you, because my God is a healer and he is better than bitterness. I don't have to be bitter with you. So what I've decided to do is to isolate each of the words from my co-authors today and make a message within the message of empathy. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Here I go. Okay, there was the last thing. Forgiveness is releasing someone from their punishment. Okay, well, it was good that I repeated that you can't destroy me, but let's go back to the definition there, because I like that one too. That's from the second one. Forgiveness is releasing someone from your punishment and entrusting the offense to God. It is a choice and an action we take. Therefore, that choice and action I've decided to take is to isolate each of the words from our co-authors and make a message within the message of empathy equals empty. So from yourdictionary.com, I got hubris, which I also got from Roger Carroll. And it is a word with Greek roots. It means arrogance and excessive pride. This can be something a character feels internally, but it usually translates to the character's actions. The concept of hubris comes from ancient Greece, and you can see it in action in literature from that period. Originally, the word was used to describe the character of humans who were so overconfident that they believed, so entitled, that they believed they could become godlike. Over time, the English word came to mean a general overconfidence, entitlement that may be excessive enough to lead to a downfall. Now, the difference between pride and hubris is simply pleasure, that pride is pleasure taken in one's accomplishments or the accomplishments of another person. It's confidence, but the confidence is in proportion to the person and his or her actions. Hubris, on the other hand, is pride multiplied until it is out of proportion. Example, a student who is proud of his or her writing skills may work hard on an essay and then turn it in with confidence. A student with hubris may put only a cursory effort into the essay, relying on his or her writing genius instead of hard work. Yeah, see? So it's entitlements, it's overconfidence. That's what hubris can be. And so we've got to find ways to get into pride. So I've worked, I'm in a men's ministry called G3 Men's Ministry on Thursday nights. And last week, one of my brothers, Shanga Wilson, posted in this thread, empathy has to be a lifestyle. Empathy has to be a lifestyle. So what I'm going to do is offer pride. It's just as pride and is not, and empathy, pride and hubris are not the same. I'm going to actually offer pride as the cure for hubris. But first, I'm going to take a look at that last comment. Hey, what's up, Dirk? Oh man, that's my not is it Jamaican actually? Dirk, Caribbean DJ. Catch him on YouTube. Dirk Smart. Dirk, you can put your link in there. Man, that's one of my good brothers. Good to see you, Dirk. Welcome aboard. All right. But okay, so I'm going to offer pride as the cure for hubris through one of my affirmations, and that is pride. Pride. Here we go. One of my affirmations, pride. And I'm spelling it backwards. Essentials equal discipline, intuition, recognition, and prayer. And my affirmations, if you're not familiar, A for acronyms and affirmations for affirmations. So they're acronyms that become affirmations. And I've got an affirmation that I want you to use today anyway, but that's not in my book. But that's it. Pride is essentials equal discipline, intuition, recognition, and prayer. Is empathy a lifestyle that you have? Is empathy a lifestyle that you have? Because see, the reason I spelled it backwards, because sometimes walking backwards refreshes our perspective of what we really need. Say it again, Sporty. Sometimes walking backwards refreshes our perspective of what we really need. In other words, we got to check back on our track record. Do you live the discipline that it takes to be proud and appreciative of your gift? I have annual prayer affirmations on my for my morning meditation. In 2016, I woke up every morning to the saying from Galatians 6, 4 and 5. Be sure to do what you should, for then you will enjoy the personal satisfaction of having done your work well, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else, for we are each responsible for our own conduct. Do you live the discipline it takes to be proud of your gift? Be sure to do what you should, for then you will enjoy the personal satisfaction. We are each responsible for our own gift. Have you ever heard me say that winning is personal? WIN, what I need, while reminding you to focus, FOCUS, finding ourselves creates unlimited successes while choosing your messengers carefully and seeing that intuition and recognition are part of your focus. Focus on you and let other people come into focus. Have you ever heard me say that? Have you ever heard me talk about prayer? Faith, FAITH, feeling as if there's hope. The only thing you cannot do is give up. When one door closes, do what? Go for the windows. Have you ever doubted that I am proud of who I've become and who I'm becoming? I put that in all capitals because there's that affirmation, not an affirmation. There's the affirmation that I'd like you to adopt and believe and use so that you can fall short of becoming hubris, yet never fall short of your walk with and perspective of pride. Are you living a lifestyle of empathy? Choose to win by focusing on your faith and daring to walk backwards and trusting your track record. I am proud of who I've become and who I'm becoming. And I'm going to take a minute to let those sit and marinate while I look in the comments. Oh, yeah, there's Dirk. All right. Yeah, putting in his. Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago. I just know when I went down there, I had. All right. And then what you got, Vic? Arrogance is a major problem today with society. We must put it aside. And look at that. And Vic, I tell you, man, y'all think me and Vic is putting this all together. But I'm going to point it out. I don't worry about necessarily wording we get it. But what does Vic have there? Arrogance is a major problem today with society. We must put it aside. See, arrogance is there. He's not saying it doesn't exist. He's saying it's there. And it's the responsibility. Whose responsibility is it to deal with the arrogance? It's our responsibility. And you're going to see that come up in my message in a minute too. See, so it's our responsibility to come up with that. I am proud, and I left that there again because I want you to get that and say it. I am proud of who I've become and who I'm becoming. Because you worked hard to get where you are. All right. So we have to fall short of hubris and recognize that we are living a lifestyle of empathy by choosing to win, by trusting our faith and daring to walk backwards and trusting your track record. Oops. Thus, and that fast forwarded, but I think about those who chose to walk in support of Black Lives Matters. And when I say chose, I don't mean past tense. They chose and then they stop. I mean, they make the commitment to bring that harmony into fruition. And see, we take that word for granted, but let me post that harmony is living together peacefully rather than fighting or arguing. Just like Vic just said, in terms of arrogance, we must try to live in peace and harmony with ourselves and those around us. So I take the initials that we use for Black Lives Matters and then ask, do you BLM? Do you believe that love matters? You see, love is LOVE. Let ourselves value everyone. And that's the prime ingredient in the formula for Black Lives Matter and for love. Do you believe that love matter? Okay. Do you believe that Black Lives Matter? And see, BLM and Black Lives Matter, it's not an attack on society. It's an affirmation of empathy. Black Lives Matter is not an attack on society. It's an affirmation of empathy. We may not have walked in the same shoes, but we've sat in one another's row because we've all been through and are going through something. Isn't that an affirmation of empathy? So notice that sentence, that the sentence that we had in defining harmony, it said, we must try to live in harmony with ourselves and those around us. See, what are you doing to nurture the harmony? We have to live in harmony with ourselves first. What are you doing to nurture the harmony? You can't right all the wrongs outside of your door. You can show all the love we need from you when you're outside your door. Let me take a moment. Vic, I'm proud of who I become. Yes, indeed. And you know what? There's um two types of what is it called? Oh God, verbal and written affirmations are how you move forward. And the verbal is what I gave when I gave you the affirmation, and who you get that word from. But the written is also a part of it. When you journal and you write and you say, I am proud of who I've become. Yeah, so you've got to get the verbal and you've got to get the written where you see your words, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, so thanks for writing that in there, Vic. Yeah, so we have to make sure that we are in peace and harmony with ourselves and those around us. That's the harmony. So notice that's what it says in that sentence. Now, as I read, Roger Carroll, back to the blogs, as I read from a 2016 article in Inc.org, it said it has seven remarkably powerful keys to happiness, to happiness and success, according to science. And I want you to listen for what I call the power of the pronoun. I want you to listen for you, we, your, our. That's why I said, Vic, fast forward when you say we have to. And then in that sentence, live in harmony with ourselves. That's called the power of the pronoun. See, what pronoun you use it transfers the power. When you say I, it gives you the power. And when you say you give someone else the power. Even though this you is going to be giving you the power. But when you blame somebody, so that means you're giving them the power. Have you ever said, they won't let us do this? Okay, so the power of the pronoun, and then as you can see, obviously, it's all context as well. It depends on the context of the sentence. All right, so here are the seven remarkably powerful keys to happiness and success, according to science. 1, live in the moment. And I've got them all 7 listed there. But live in the moment, find resilience, manage your energy, do nothing, treat yourself well, venture outside your comfort zone and show compassion outwardly. 1, live in the moment. Don't get stressed thinking about things that you have to do later on. Simply focus on what's at hand in the moment and tackle whatever you need to do now. You'll be significantly less worried, also more effective. 2, find resilience. The scariest times are not when we're overwhelmed or stressed. They're when we can't come back from our moments of feeling like we're drowning. Teach your brain to be able to bounce back from strenuous situations and reduce your overdrive. 3, manage your energy. Don't get worked up over things that ultimately won't matter in the long run. Instead, keep your thoughts for only the most important things. Wasting your mental capacity on people or thoughts that don't matter has never been an effective way of spending your time. 4, do nothing. While we all have obligations we have to take care of, doing nothing allows us to tap into our creativity. You'll come up with more ideas in the long run when you take care of your creativity. 5, treat yourself well. The way we treat our bodies reflects how we want others to see us. Regarding our own faults with compassion instead of anger leaves you more likely to recover from your mistakes. 6, venture outside your comfort zone. Playing it safe is easier, but not the best way for you to grow. Your brain is supposed to build new skills, but there's no way to learn them unless we push ourselves outside of what we already know. Your comfort zone is nothing but a boundary for you to break. In fact, one thing I always say is have guidelines, not boundaries. Boundaries say stop, guidelines say caution and consider. And lastly, 7, show compassion outwardly. Validating the opinions and feelings of others allows you to form valuable connections. Thinking about you with your relocating there, Roger Carroll, you have to have valuable connections. Do not underestimate the power of empathy. Showing compassion is the way to building successful relationships and connections that can help you in the future. And let me tell you, I could not, and those are the 7 things, I could not have planned a better reconnection to the top of our time together than that last sentence. Showing compassion is the way to building successful relationships and connections that can help you in the future. Empathy is about you. Let me see this comment before I move on. Okay, I like that. We need to show outward compassion and give ourselves grace in this now normal. Yeah, and thank you. You know what I did, by the way? I did go and look up now normal to see if it was copywritten, and it's not. But I'm not going to bother paying to copyright. So if you want to, go on. But we're living in the now normal. This is the future. We're living in the future. What do we say about the future, right? We say, when this happens, this is going to happen. Well, aren't we in the when this happened right now? You know, don't we want to see what side effects the vaccine have? I got my shot on Monday. I'm good. I get my second shot on April 5th. But that's the future. That's not the present. This is going to happen. So that means we're living in the future right now. Just another cliche and a way of looking at it, because we like to say I'm living in the present. The moment is the present, but we're living also in the future because there's a change of the guard right now. And that's why we have to have that outward compassion and then give ourselves grace, because you're not going to do, remember I talked about the absolutes, never and always. It's never going back to the way it was. You're not going to always do things the way we always used to do them. You've got to give yourself that grace and be ready to make those changes. And together we are stronger, divided we are weaker. You see, but you got my sign in the background. I keep that. That, by the way, was Hillary's campaign slogan in 2016. Yep. But together we are stronger. But that's where the empathy comes in. That's why we've got to use the power of the pronoun. It's about us. It's about you. What are you doing to nurture your life? What are you doing to live a lifestyle of empathy? Because that's really what's going to make a difference. Why didn't I say focus? Finding ourselves creates unlimited success. Choose your messengers carefully. You are connecting to someone. You are somebody's messenger. And so therefore, what you nurture gets nourished in them. There's a cartoon on my thread that shows a mother behind her son, and it just shows her tongue going through the kid's neck and out his mouth, and he's ridiculing another kid. What you say gets passed on. And so that doesn't matter whether you're a parent, a mentor, a significant other, adult, or a peer, because your peers could be the leader of your group, right? So yeah, everything you say makes a difference to somebody. But like I said, I couldn't have planned a better closing to take us back to the top. And that is showing compassion is the way to building successful relationships and connections that can only help you in the future. You see, empathy is about you. In the middle of the Lord's Prayer, we recite, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. You have to empty yourself to make room for others to be who they are and worthy of compassion. Then you will be led into temptation, but delivered from evil. Then you'll be led not into temptation, but delivered from evil forever and ever and for empathy. Amen. A message that everyone needs. Thank you to my co-authors. Next week, we'll be using the letter J. And I see we've already dropped some letter J's in the thread. So let me take a moment to look at some comments as we close it out. Hey, what's up, Tezzy B? That's my girl. That's one of my little sisters. Hey, what's up, Tezzy B? Good. I'm glad you used it. I'm glad you needed it, and I'm glad I was here to deliver it. That's what we got to do. That's what I was saying about your word gets passed on to somebody else. Vic, a safe and blessed time. Like it when you close us out. That was an impactful cartoon. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I took that from a good friend of mine, one of my peers, Michael Grundy, and that's why I put his name in there. Yeah, you have to pass things along and share them. All right. So again, if you like to get a word in next week's message, where our message, and I like that. Yes, always yes with a double S is a good thing to get, because it lights us up, right? Okay, and that's what we have to do to say to God. We have to say yes. Thank you. Oh, yeah, this is his problem, but yes, thank you. Love it. All right. But this is my key to you. Again, remember, all right, put a word that begins with the letter J. Any word that you want that begins with the letter J, and I'll work it into next week's message, which I haven't decided what my message will be next week. But I will find a way. When you get your J in there, I'll find a way to join you and co-author the message through you. Meanwhile, have another good day. Wear your mask, even if you got your shot. Even after you got your shot, still wear your mask, all right? I'm Sporty King. Thanks for watching, engaging, enjoying, and sharing Glue Wednesday. God's love undoes everything. You can always look at my feed here to see the messages, but also please go to and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can see the messages in sync, in order, because they come right out one after the other, and it's an easier way to flow and share it with somebody. But I definitely want you to go there and share that, and definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. So Haas, thank you for another great message. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thanks everybody. And man, we did that. I thought it was going to be a long match. So I actually kind of went a little fast, y'all. But it was a wholesome message. And that's why I say this our Wednesday message is 30 to 45 minutes. And so we're just at 37. So that's good. We're going to end it now and let it be a quality message, because the quantity of the time is not always important. It's the quality of the time that we spend together. One of my good homegirl sisters texted me yesterday and said, sorry, I haven't contacted you in a while. I've been going through some things. And I said, quality contact is always more important than quantity. And that's another thing about our empathy, y'all. So again, thank you. God bless you. Glad that the message was well received, and recognize that you're well received as well. But it depends on how you deliver the message. Tone is very important. It depends on how you deliver the message, okay? Happy St. Patrick's Day to my Irish friends and to my non-Irish friends, because every holiday belongs to all of us. Isn't that what we're talking about? Isn't that the empathy? Every holiday belongs to all of us. So let's continue to share in one another's lives, and let's pass that on to help build one another's lives. Thanks again. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.